Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Floss, back again with another video. And today we're going to do the real review of the Google Nexus 6. Now, if you're new to my channel, the reason I call this the real review is not trying to say that anybody else's review is fake. No, I call this the real review because I'm a real consumer. Every phone that you see me review on this channel is a phone that I bought with my own money, a phone that's activated on one of my lines, a phone that I use every day. So I don't have any reason to give y'all any biased or false information. All right. Now, just like any other video I do, I like to talk about everything I don't like first, and then we'll get into everything that I do like. All right, so let's get right into this. First off, let's talk about what I don't like. Number one, the price. Now, $650, yeah, that's a little bit cheaper than some of these top of the line phones that's coming out right now. But keep in mind, this is a Nexus device, stock Android. You're not going to have all of these fancy features and gimmicks and all that. So the price should be a little bit cheaper, similar to how Google did with the Nexus 5. You know, you're getting a stock Android with just like the base phone. It should be a little bit cheaper. Now, $650, yeah, that's not too bad. But if you could drop another $50 and get yourself a Galaxy Note 4, you know, why wouldn't you do that? So the price is a little bit on the steep side, not the biggest deal in the world. Next, the rounded back. Now, this is kind of annoying right here. The way the shape of the back is, if you like me and you go out to eat or you're at work and you like to have your phone flat on the table and you like to do text messaging with one finger like that, the phone is going to rock side to side. All right, the phone is going to move around a lot. It's going to get annoying after a while. Now, there's an easy fix to that. All you got to do is go out and get yourself a case, something like this, and that'll kind of flatten the back out a little bit. But if you're one of those people that don't like to use cases, then you're definitely not going to be feeling that. Next, another thing about the back of the phone, if you're one of those cats like me that has OCD and you like the back of your phone to always look clean and nice and shiny and fingerprint free, you're not going to like this phone at all. The back of this phone is a certified fingerprint magnet. Now, I'm over here, I got this microfiber cloth in one hand, so my fingers are pretty dry. But when you're outside and you're using this phone in day-to-day use, the back of this phone is going to look horrible. All right, if you like, you know, using your phone raw dog with no case, the back of this phone is going to look horrible after a while. You're definitely going to have to bring yourself a microfiber cloth and keep it in your pocket. All right, so fingerprint magnet on deck. Next, the battery. Now, the battery on this phone, there's only one way to put it. The battery on this phone is trash. Now, I know you've seen the specs and you've seen 3,220 milliamp battery and you're saying to yourself, all right, that's the same as the Note 4. So the battery should be right on par with the Note 4. Wrong. The battery on this phone is garbage. Now, even though Google has Project Volta and all of this other stuff that you read about, the battery just doesn't cut it. Now, I went to this event the other day, and the event was outdoor. So I'm outside, I'm watching videos, I'm recording stuff. You know, I'm on my Twitter, my Facebook, Instagram. I literally drained this phone in 3.5 hours. From 100% full battery to completely drained in 3.5 hours. Granted, I had to turn the screen brightness up a little bit more since I'm outside, but 3.5 hours, that's not cutting it. That's not even half a day. Now, other phones, yeah, of course, a lot of these phones, the batteries aren't that great, but this, I just got to talk about it. The battery on this is just trash. I'm definitely not feeling that. Even on regular days when I'm not at events and all that, and y'all know I'm an internet warrior. I'm online all day. The phone doesn't last me more than 5 hours, and that's with heavy usage. Heavy usage, I'm getting 4 to 5 hours depending on the day, but ultra heavy use, not even 4 hours. All right, so the battery in this is garbage. Next, the display. Now, that goes both ways. I do like the display, but the display is kind of washed out. Now, I hear people say, what's the difference between AMOLED and Super AMOLED? We don't have to get to all that technical mumbo jumbo. All you have to do, if you want to see what I'm talking about, is put your Galaxy Note 4 on the table and put a Nexus 6 on the table and just look at it with the naked eye. Last night I was in this restaurant and me and my girl, we was having a little phone comparison with her Galaxy Note 4, and all you have to do is look at it with the naked eye. The whites on the Nexus 6, they tend to come out pinkish or kind of creamy, like a creamy color white. It just doesn't pop like the Nexus, like the Note 4. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a full comparison video. I always say that. But people that's in the market for a new phone, this is stuff that you need to hear. You need to hear this kind of stuff. All right, so not the worst screen in the world, but definitely not the best. All right, now you read the specs if you want, Quad HD and all of that. Don't buy it. All right, don't buy into all of that spec mumbo jumbo. The whites on this phone, they're gonna look creamy after a while. And let's talk about the screen burn real quick. Now, I hear a lot of people been hitting me up saying, have I had any screen burn issues? And the answer to that is no. And it's kind of simple. And I know a bunch of people, with Nexus 6s. And it's kind of like that whole iPhone situation with the bend, iPhones bending, with the Galaxy Note 4 with the gap on the side. It's like nowadays, people find if people have a problem with a phone, it tends to get blown out overboard. And people tend to find a little problem and run with it. I haven't had that problem. None of my boys had that problem, but I did go on some forums and all that, and I did see a couple of people had problems. But there's an easy way to fix that if you do happen to get unlucky enough to have some screen burn. It's just like back in the days when you used to have those plasma screen TVs, and you play a video game or something and leave it on pause too long, and you turn it off and you have a little screen burn. All you have to do is this. Let me show you an easy way to fix that. All you have to do is invert the colors. All right, so now the color's going to change. If you had your screen burn, you leave your colors inverted for a little while, come back and check on it in a half an hour, and your colors should be back to normal and no more screen burn. All right, so I haven't had that problem. A lot of people in the forums haven't had that problem either, but some people have it here and there. I don't know. I'm not even going to make a big deal about it because I haven't had that problem. All right, so that's and there's one more thing that I don't like about the Nexus 6. Let me talk about that real quick. It's similar to the problem I had with the iPhone 6, and that's with your recently used apps. All right, when you go to your recently used apps, let's open up a Facebook. Let's get out of there. Let's open up a Twitter. Let's get out of there. Let's open up Google Wallet. Matter of fact, let me just, okay, that's closed up. Let me open up Google Plus. Now, when you go to your recently used apps, there's no one button to get rid of all of them at once. You're going to have to swipe each one by one. Is that a big deal? Not really. But if you're somebody like me, I don't like to close out too many apps because I like to go back and forth all day long. I like to have a whole list of stuff open and I just cycle through and just pop them open one by one. But if somebody says, let me see your phone, or somebody want to walk away from the phone for a second, I like to just press that one button and close everything out. Now, with your iPhone, you could swipe more than one at a time, but with your Nexus 6, you got to swipe one at a time. Is that a deal breaker for me? No, but it's something I just got to mention. And last but not least, my main thing that I don't like about the Nexus 6 is there's no multitasking. Is that a big deal? Might not be for you, but for me, that's a huge deal. Especially on a phone that costs this much money, no multitasking, that's a huge deal. It's almost a borderline deal breaker for me. And let me give you a quick example of how I noticed this the other night, and it kind of pissed me off. I use my Google Glass all the time. I got it connected to my Note 4. So now I decided to connect my Google Glass to my Nexus 6. So I have to put in the Wi-Fi password. The Wi-Fi password that I have right now on my Verizon is some long, drawn out password with a whole bunch of letters and numbers, capital letters and stuff, something that you couldn't memorize. So I had to take a screenshot of it. So now I got the screenshot open like this, just for instance, this is a screenshot of the Google of my Wi-Fi password. Then I have to press the button and go back to my Google Glass. So I put in the first 3 letters, then I got to go like this, switch back, memorize the next 3 letters, going back and forth. And it took a couple of minutes, it was just aggravating and just annoying. Whereas if I would have had my Galaxy Note 4, I would have just had 2 windows open, and I could just been looking at the password right here and typing it right in. All right, so multitasking, some people don't make too much of a big deal about it, but people that use multitasking and like to use 2, 3 apps at a time, that's almost something that you can't live without. So if I could only walk around with one phone, it definitely couldn't be the Nexus 6 because I need multitasking. Now, you might not need it that much, or you might not use it that much, so you got to make your own choice. But for me, no multitasking is a huge deal breaker. All right, but whatever, we're gonna rock with it. Now, let's talk about everything that I do like, now that we got that out the way. First off, the size. All right, the size on this phone, this 5.9-inch screen, the size is perfect for me. Now, cats that watch my videos, y'all know my favorite phone used to be the HTC One Max, and that's because it was just huge, and it had the speakers on the front. Same thing as this one. All right, a big giant phone. This almost cuts out the need for me to walk around with my Nexus 7. There's no reason for me to walk around with that anymore. It's pretty much the same size. All right, so a big giant phone like this to me is a perfect size. Now, some people think it's a little bit too wide, but if you do a size comparison, you put it next to your iPhone 6 Plus, it's pretty much just a little bit wider. Now, I haven't had a problem putting this in my pocket. I haven't had a problem putting this in any of the docks in my cars. No problems at all. All right, so the size on this for me is perfect, especially when you're watching videos and you're doing spreadsheets and all that. It's just perfect to have a big giant screen like this where you can see all your information. So when I get my spreadsheets, I like to turn the phone in landscape and I can see the whole spreadsheet. Some of these other phones, you can't do that. All right, so the size on this is a major plus for me. It's a win. Next, the build quality. I'm definitely feeling the build quality on this. All right, I like the metal around the sides. I like the speakers on the front. I like the way the phone is shaped. Now, the round back, like I said, that's a problem, but not a big problem for me because I use cases. So once you put a case on your phone, you're not going to have a problem with that round back, and you're going to have a nice build quality. You're going to feel this build quality. If you're not using the case, just having the metal around the sides, you know, people, that's kind of underrated to me in the cell phone game. But the metal feeling, the feel that you have when you hold the phone in your hand, that makes a difference. All right, think about when you had your old Galaxy Notes on all these plastic phones, and then you hold something like an M8, that metal phone. You know, it just gives you that feeling of you got your money's worth when it comes to build quality. You know, I hate spending $800 on a phone and it feels like my cable remote control. You know, I don't like that. You know, a lot of people want thinner and lighter. I like bigger and heavier. All right. Next, another thing I like about this phone is Android Lollipop. Now, we're going to get that on all the other phones soon enough. But right now, this is the only phone running Lollipop. And we're not talking about rooted phones. We're talking about stock. This is the only phone running stock Lollipop. What I like about the stock Lollipop, everything is just more vibrant. Everything is more colorful. All the animations. The animations on this phone is ridiculous. Now, you notice when you turn the phone off, you see everything kind of goes to grayscale and then turns back on. So many animations on this phone. We're not going to go through all of them. I don't want this video to be 2 hours long, but a lot of beautiful animations. All right, so animations on Lollipop. This is actually, in my opinion, the best version of Google yet. I used to think KitKat was the best version, but after using Lollipop, all the little minor updates from stuff like the calculator to messaging to Gmail, all of the new apps and the way they run on Lollipop, everything runs silky smooth. Everything looks hot. Now, plus we got to mention a few of the Lollipop features, like tap and go. When I first got the phone and you want to take all your information from your Galaxy Note 4 and put it onto your Nexus 6, using the tap and go feature just makes life so much easier. All you do is put both of the phones together, you tap it, and you walk away. That's it. All your apps, all your information, everything gets downloaded. Beautiful. Another thing I like about Lollipop is the lock screen. Now, you're going to see a whole bunch of Android Lollipop lock screens on the market. Those are cool, but they don't work as good as the stock Lollipop lock screen. You have the, the ambient display. That's what you call it. When you pick up the phone and you see your notifications, they kind of like grayed out. Or when you actually get a notification and they pop up like that. I'm definitely feeling that feature. But I like, look, let me show you something real quick. Like with the lock screen. If you, matter of fact, let me show you that real quick. I don't want to blow up nobody's information. All right, so say I go on my Gmail. I got Gmail notifications. If I hold down on it, it'll actually show me which app is pushing that notification. Then I can actually go to the settings of that app. All right, so that's kind of tough right there. Also, you got your quick settings. You got a built-in flashlight on deck. All right, so no more having to download that third-party flashlight app. No, now you got a built-in flashlight. And you also have all your quick toggles. Everything just looks better on Lollipop than it does on KitKat. That's the basic theme that we go on. Everything just looks better. And you also have to remember about the Nexus. This brings me to my next point of what I like about the Nexus is it's a Nexus. So what that means is you're going to be the first person to get all of the updates. All right, so whenever an update comes out for something with Google, you're going to get it first on your Nexus, especially when there's a major update. You're going to get that first. A lot of phones right now still don't have the latest version of KitKat. And yet here we have Lollipop on deck. So that's another thing I like about this phone, being the Nexus, being that you're going to get the most support. Now, that's a big deal if you plan on getting this phone and using it for the next 2 years. You know, if this is just going to be your phone until the next couple of months, then who cares? But if you're going to have this phone and you're going to sign a contract for it, or you're going to finance it from one of these companies like Sprint or AT&T, and you're going to pay that, X amount of dollars a month, then you want to be guaranteed that you're going to have the latest version of Android when it comes out. So being that this is a Nexus, you're not going to have that problem. Next, the display. Now, I said the display, the colors do get kind of washed out here and there, but that doesn't that doesn't take away from the fact that it's still an AMOLED display, and y'all know how I feel about AMOLED displays, because you see how I always do my basic setups like this with the black background. When you have an AMOLED display, the black background just looks so much better. But, you know, it's not the worst. Definitely not the worst. So I'm definitely feeling the display. Next, let's talk about turbocharge. Now, this phone does have the turbocharge, which, in my opinion, they needed to throw that on there, because with the battery life draining that fast, you're gonna need that turbocharge. Now, I haven't really seen too much difference with the turbocharge when you're charging your phone when it's maybe like 65, 70%. When you put in, when you put on the turbocharge, it's not gonna jump to 100 in 5 minutes. You'll notice the difference when your phone is completely on 0. Then you'll notice the turbocharge, it'll go from 0 to 40% quickly. All right, so now that could be with some of the computer chips inside it. Maybe it's set to, throttle itself down after a certain amount of time. We'll see. But the turbocharge, you'll notice it when your phone is completely dead or about to die and you put in the turbocharge, then it'll jump up faster than if you just try to, sometimes you have your phone at 80% and you just want to charge it to 100 before you break out. You're not going to really see the difference with the turbocharge. But that's a cool feature to have when your battery is about to die, especially since the battery on this is pretty much trash. Next, another thing I like about the Nexus 6 is you have wireless charging built in. Now, of course, on your Galaxy Note and your iPhone and all these other phones, all you have to do is buy the little Qi Enable adapter, your little card. I actually have one right here. Matter of fact, I'll show y'all what it looks like real quick. You buy something like this for your Galaxy Note 4, and then you can have Qi wireless charging. But this is just built into the Nexus. That's a nice touch. I think all companies should do that, and it actually works. So let me grab something like my Qi Stone, put it right on here. Let me turn this on. All right, put it right on here. And you see now it's charging up. Is it charging up? There we go. Now it's charging up. You hear the beep. Yeah, see? Hold up, I just moved it. All right, hold on. There we go. So you got wireless charging. Is that the biggest deal in the world? No, of course not. But for me, I like having all this kind of stuff because this is one of my favorite wireless chargers. So I just throw this in my pocket. Now, like I was saying the other day, I'm at the event and my phone starts dying. I'm fortunate enough to be able to switch phones. I got a whole bunch of different phones on me, so I just switch out. But if you didn't, you could easily charge your phone on the go without having a bunch of wires on deck. So wireless charging, I'm definitely feeling. Next, let's talk about the camera. Now the camera on this, it goes both ways. Now this is something I could have mentioned about the things I don't like about the phone, but that's all about how you use the phone. The camera on this is pretty good. Y'all seen my video camera test for yourself. When you're outside in the daytime and you're in bright lights and all that, the camera on this is a go. All right, the focus, everything is a go on it. It takes pictures really quick. Let's open the camera up real quick. Takes pictures really quick. You get that little preview right there. And the pictures come out, pretty good. Well, that might not have been the best picture to try this, but the pictures come out pretty good. Now, here's the problem. When you're in low light situations, when you're somewhere like inside, last night I was in this bar and trying to take some pictures in a dark bar. Trust me, the camera at night on this is pretty much whack. All right, the focus on this at night is whack. Dark, when you're in a dark environment, you're not going to like the pictures on this. Now, that's always been a problem with Nexus devices. They never had the best camera, and I'm kind of spoiled because I do use Galaxy Notes and I do use iPhone, so, you get spoiled. But after using a camera from something like a Note and then going to this, you're gonna see the difference. All right, the pictures they come out decent. They decent. They good enough for Instagram, good enough for Facebook and all that. But if you're trying to take some serious photos and all that, especially in the low lights, you're not gonna like the camera on this. But in the daylight, they do look good. Now the camera does have some nice features. The panorama. This is one of the best panoramic cameras that you can use right now. It takes beautiful panoramic shots. All right, the photosphere shots is good when you're using burst shot and all that. The camera is real simple. The interface on the camera, it's a real simple interface. It's not going to take you 2 days to learn how to use. They don't have too many settings and all that. So the camera is pretty much a point and shoot, pretty much an easy camera. My only gripe with the camera is the low light issues. Next, speakers on the front. Y'all hear me say this 1,000 times. I think all phones should have speakers on the front. That's the best possible placement to put speakers at on the phone. And this one right here is no different. The Nexus speakers are definitely a win. Are they the best? I would say the HTC Boom Sound speakers are still the top of the line. Right now, I haven't heard anything that's louder, not only louder, but still able to generate bass and treble and, generate a good sound, not just a loud volume. Because a lot of times people confuse a loud sounding speaker with a good quality sounding speaker. I don't want it to just be loud with no bass, or you had that little popping sound. The speakers on the Nexus 6, they killing the Note 4, they killing the iPhone, they killing pretty much everything else out except for the M8. All right, the M8 still has the best speakers on the market, but these are second best in my opinion. So speakers on the front, nice and loud, nice and crystal clear, especially when you're watching YouTube videos. You're going to love this. Get yourself a nice little stand. And it's like I said, it's almost like having a 6-inch tablet. Speakers on the front, you're getting that stereo sound, and you hear them from the top and the bottom. All right, so I'm definitely feeling that. What else? Let's talk about performance. Now, performance brings me to one of my favorite categories I like to talk about when we're comparing phones and we're doing phone reviews, the lag factor. All right, now y'all seen my video for the Note 4. A lot of people was like, oh, you got a defective Note 4 and all that. No, all right, it's TouchWiz. It's not the Note 4, it's TouchWiz, and I'd be willing to bet any amount of money if I came to your house or I was around you, I can make your Note 4 lag. I'll do a separate video on that. It's some simple things you could do to exploit the lag on the Note 4. Really simple. All right, this is really simple things you could do to show people that TouchWiz just has lag to it. And it's all about opening up apps too fast, not closing a certain amount of apps and all of that. And especially when it comes to opening up 1 or 2, 3 apps too fast, and then you pull out your S Pen and click the button, I can make the phone lag, no problem at all. I've done this 1,000 times. But when you're using something like the Nexus 6, let's talk about lag factor. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most laggiest phone out, and 1 being super smooth, no lag, this is definitely a 1. All right, the Nexus 6 has pretty much 0 lag. Now, y'all know when I do a video, before I do a review, I beast the phone out. I'm trying to make it lag. And this phone just doesn't lag. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't had any hiccups. I did have a force close here and there. I did have a few hiccups here and there. But when I say here and there, that means hardly ever. All right, and I'm keeping it real with y'all. This phone is not going to lag out on you. This is one of those phones that when you pull it out of your pocket and you turn it on and you start swiping and you start going through apps, everything works smooth. All right, everything works smooth. You open up your Facebook, it's going to open it up. When you end it, it's going to end. You're not going to have that delay when you go into your home screen. When you open up your multiple apps, everything just opens really quick, closes really quick. And this is stock. No roots, no developer options, no turning off animation scales, nothing. This is just fresh out of the box. All right, no lag. So the lag factor on this is a definite win. It's a definite plus. I'm definitely feeling that 0% lag in my book. And like I said, I've had a hiccup here and there. I'm not trying to say that this is the best phone ever made. I've had a hiccup here and there. And a lot of times it comes to do with downloading certain apps, downloading third-party apps, and especially some of these little cheesy apps, they might force close, or you downloaded something in the background and you open up something too quick. Might take a little extra second to open, but I'm not having any major lag issues with this phone, and I'm definitely feeling it. Another thing I like too, this is something I could have mentioned with the software, is the OK Google feature. That works even when your phone is off now. Let me see if I have it set up on that. OK Google. I might have disabled that. I was using it the other day. I might have disabled that because a lot of times when I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos, especially, I'm into tech stuff, it kept saying Google and it kept opening up my phone and it kept going in my search. So I might have disabled that. Whatever, we'll see. But the point is, you do have that feature that you could turn on your Google Now search. So even when the phone is off, so when your phone is just laying flat on the table, you don't have to turn the screen on. You can just say OK Google and it'll pop on. All right, so I'm definitely feeling that. Now, that pretty much covers it, but of course we have to talk about the feature that y'all want to know too, that I like to talk about, the floss factor. All right, so what's the floss factor? The floss factor means, is your phone the top dog? All right, what's the wow factor on your phone? When you pull your phone out and somebody comes out with any one of these other phones, see, I use a bunch of phones. If somebody comes out with any one of these other phones right here, and they put them on the table at the bar, and you pull out your phone, you put it on the table, is your phone a top dog, or is your phone last year's model? Is your phone, you know, bottom of the barrel? Do you have to put your phone back in your pocket and go hide somewhere? Well, to me, on a scale of 1 to 10, the floss factor on this phone is a win. Now, not the most, I wouldn't say that the best, the number one in the world, but the thing about the Nexus is right now, today, if you pull out your Nexus, nobody else got a stock Android lollipop phone but you. Now, shout out to my man Max. You could go watch other videos. You could root your M8, get lollipop. You could root your Note 4, get a lollipop, ROM and all of that. That's cool. But if you just want to be a real tech head and you want to be the only cat on the scene with the latest version of Google, the latest and greatest, then this is the one. All right, you're going to have the top of the line Google experience out right now. As far as build quality and all that too, yes, this is a definite beast right here. And it's giant. It's a big giant phone. Anytime I pull this phone out, you know, people look at it and say, what phone is that? It's huge. I've never seen that before. A lot of people, believe it or not, never even seen the Nexus 6 yet. And y'all know I'm everywhere. A lot of people never seen this. So the floss factor on this is off the charts. Now, it would have been better if they would have came out with a specific Nexus watch, like how Samsung did with the Note 4 and the Solo watch. You know, a watch that's specifically tied for this specific phone. I know people are going to say the LG and the Moto watch and all of that. I mean a Nexus watch. All right, they should have a Nexus watch, and that would bring the floss factor through the roof. But right now, the floss factor is still there. You're still on top of the food chain. You pull out your Nexus 6, you're not gonna have no problems in all your phone wars and your phone battles at the office when you buy the water cooler and y'all going feature for feature. Yeah, you're gonna take a loss if somebody pull out that Note 4 and they want to have a feature fight with you. You definitely gonna take a loss. But as far as if you just want to be that dude with the latest Android, then this is it. All right. So to sum this review up, if you like stock Android, there's no question this is the phone for you. If you want a stock Android experience, this is the phone for you. Personally, if I want a stock Android experience, I'd rather get a Galaxy Note 4 and just root it and put a stock ROM on it, because you're going to get a better camera with your Galaxy Note 4. You're going to get better battery life, and that display. All right, there's no software that's going to change that display. You're going to have a better display. But if you want speakers on the front, like I do, if you want a bigger phone and you just want a stock Android experience without having to do any rooting, any fancy computer work, and you're scared to root because maybe you worried about your warranty and all of that, get the Nexus 6. All right, the Nexus 6 is y'all stock Android lovers' dream phone. All right, this is the dream for stock Android lovers. But my personal opinion, if I had to pick, let me see. I'll show y'all my lineup right now, in order of how I rock out. All right. Now, for me, my personal favorite phone out right now is my Note 4 Edge. All right, the Note 4 Edge is my favorite phone out right now. All right, so Note 4 is my top of the line phone. Then after that, we got the Note 4, the Note 4 Edge and the Note 4. These are my two favorite phones. All right, so this is, you can pretty much call this 1 and 2. Then I'll put the Nexus as number 3. All right, so Nexus has jumped into my number 3 slot. Then after that, believe it or not, my G3, my LG G3 is still right up there in the top dogs. My G3 is my fourth go-to phone. One thing I like about the G3 and the M8 is this feature of tap and to turn on. Now, I think the Nexus and all of these big phones, they should have that feature. All right, so this way you don't got to go searching for the power button, even though you have the ambient notifications and all that. No, I like to just tap the phone and get to my screen and see my notifications and just pop open like that. So the G3 is still up there in the ranks for me. Then after that, I'll go with my iPhone 6 Plus after that. That's the next one, the 6 Plus. This is still a top dog, and this is one of the phones I use for the camera. The camera on this is great. All right, the camera on the iPhone is great, and it has great battery life. Then after that, well, iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, these are pretty much the same phone, just different size. Then after that, then, everything else, all the rest of these phones, yeah, whatever. They, kind of falling back to the side. They're ready for trade value. All right, so just in case y'all wanted to know, no, the Nexus 6 is not my top phone right now. It's still the Note series. And simple explanation is because I need multitasking. I need a better camera. And I need the S Pen. The S Pen is what separates the Note 4 from anything that's coming out right now. Anything that's out and anything that I see coming out in the future it's still, you know, it's still gonna have a problem if they don't put a pen or some kind of, copy kind of pen to a phone, especially a big giant phone like that. You're gonna need something to do some writing, to do the copy and paste and all that. You know, like I said, I'm not going to get into that too much, but the Note 4 is still my favorite phone. The Nexus 6 is second. All right, so the two Note 4s, we just call them one. The Note is my favorite phone. Nexus 6 is my second favorite phone because of the size, because of the speakers. It's just a fun phone, and especially because of Lollipop. Lollipop is just so much fun. Trust me, if y'all haven't used Lollipop, play with it. Go to the store and play with it. Look at all the animations. Look at all the colorful stuff. Look how everything is all bright and vibrant. Whatever Android phone you got, make sure you update your Gmail. That'll give you an idea of how Lollipop looks. Update your Gmail. Update your YouTube. Update your Messenger app. This is the theme of Lollipop. Everything is simple and colorful and bright and just a little bit less clutter. Everything is, the nice circles, and it's just nice. It's just really nice. All right, so overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, the Nexus 6 is definitely a win. There's a few problems with it here and there, but it's definitely a win. And it's a little bit cheaper than buying a Note. If money's the issue, it's cheaper than buying a Note, cheaper than buying the iPhone. And not only cheaper, but it's cheaper and more future-proof. All right, so you go out and buy a Note 3 or a Note 4, you're going to be waiting for those updates. All right, if this is going to be your phone for the next year or two, get this. Because this way you're going to have this latest version of Android without having to root, without having to deal with all the ROMs and all that junk. You're just going to be able to pull out your phone, go to your updates, and get the latest and greatest. All right, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what y'all lineup is. Let me know what y'all favorite phones are. Let me know what y'all think. Shout out to everybody that rock with me on Facebook, Foursquare, Twitter, Google+. Shout out to all the Google gangsters I see y'all holding down that Facebook page. Shout out to everybody hitting me up on Voxer. And a special shout out to everybody rocking with me on Instagram. Y'all know that's where I'm at full time, 100% full throttle. And a special shout out to everybody rocking with the Amazon Warrior on Sundays. Everybody that came through to the live stream. From now on, we're doing live stream, y'all. So we got the next live stream coming up. Maybe Saturday night, maybe Friday night. We're going to get into another live stream. I figured out how to do it now. Shout out to everybody that participated in that one. I was reading all the comments. Y'all see we had a good time. We had a whole bunch of fun. Stream Gangsters on deck. Y'all already know. Get your drinks ready. Oh, yeah. One more thing. I almost forgot. Fellas, ladies, say it with me. All y'all haters, all y'all trolls, close your eyes and picture me rolling. It's your boy Floss. I'm out. Deuces. Before I go to, let me just show y'all something real quick. Let me give y'all a quick idea of something. Now, this is a picture I took last night. This is how this whole phone argument started last night and what kind of prompted me to just hurry up and do this review today. Because me and my girl, we was taking pictures at this bar, and we was going back and forth with the picture quality. I was using my Nexus 6, she was using her Note, and I had to, at the end of the night, I had to switch back to my Note. I had to start using my Note to take all my pictures because the Nexus 6, the pictures at night, they look like shit. Now, go to my Instagram if you want to see a picture of how the Galaxy Note takes pictures at night, and look at this picture right here. Now, you're not going to really see it through the camera, but go to my Instagram and check it out. Look at the detail, look at the color saturation, look at everything on this picture. This picture was taken with the Galaxy Note 4. It's a win. All right, but the Nexus 6 is a win too. Say what you want. It's your boy Floss. I'm out. Deuces.